Namaste. 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 Peace and blessings. Greetings. Shalom. Waza. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. Magic require. Hopefully, y'all having a great week. Um, and it is almost the weekend. Um, Today is the day of Jupiter, Thursday. Okay, you should know this by now. Um, and like I said, I hope that you've had a great week. Nothing has gone wrong. Nobody has attacked you. I just wish you the very best. I am your host, Magick Lacroix, the author, the creator of the Dora Pose. What's going on, people? Um, let's talk. All right. The title of this particular live is going to be A House Divided Will Always Fall. I have tried my best to stay away from this particular topic. I really have. And it's not like me casting my opinions is going to matter much either. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like uh just talking about some things. If y'all don't mind, come in, sit, join me, light some incense, kick your feet up. Let's have a great live. All right. So um one of the things that they do best. When I say they, I mean the so-called elite. They have successfully. I'm not going to say they will be success. They have successfully separated all of us. As far as melanated people, all right, melanated people do not sit together no matter what. All right, and it's been that way for a long time. I believe it started with the Moors. Crucify me if you will, but I believe when the Moors made that treaty, um, I believe that's when it happened. Okay, I've maintained my stance on that. So you can look up the information yourself. Okay, I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, but I'm not going to do the research for you. Um, and since we are separated and divided by so many things, that's why it's hard to pinpoint the separation between the sexes, the gender wars, the religion wars, the sexuality wars, you know, um, it doesn't go on anywhere else but with melanated people. So, yes, a house divided will always fall. All right. So the latest that they've done, okay, they've infiltrated by way of every way imaginable that you can think of through media, through music, through these sorry ass so-called rappers that they put out to destroy particularly the black woman's image. You know what I mean? It's just it's so much, and you got to wonder why. Why would they put so much effort into dividing us in particular? Okay, um, just I mean, because united we do stand. All right, we've always been a strong front when we stick together. The 60s is a prime example. I always talk about that because the Panthers were an excellent organization who also was infiltrated, right? The movie Panther, you got to wonder why, at least I do. I wonder why this movie, for a minute, for a couple of years, it wasn't even available. And when it was available, it was a ridiculous amount of money. Panther by Mario Van Peebles, starring Bobby Brown and the guy Tommy Chong's son, Marcus Chong, Marcus Chong, and then Angela Bassett's husband, Courtney Vance. Um, who else? There's a lot. Kumo D is in that movie, but um, I spoke about that particular movie before. But as I said, they have successfully. I ain't gonna say everybody else, but I marvel at how successful they've been to do this to all of us. Young doesn't trust old, men don't trust women, homosexuals don't trust heterosexuals, non-religious versus religious, even down to the damn football teams. All right. When you have this much infighting going on, I mean, what's the saying goes? Divide and conquer. They have divided and fucking conquered us. I'm sorry, I went on a rant and didn't see who was in here. Peace and blessings, love, peace and power, Konami, Brother Moore, Katrina, Namaste, Sasha Fox, hello. Caribbean Grimoire, what's going on, brother? Classic movie. Yes, it's a classic movie. Classic. He followed in his father's sweet back legendary steps with that one. Yes, he did. The Fall of Rome. Exactly. Um, this is why I'm always saying, and like I said, I didn't mean to get into a mini event right then, but the latest distraction, somebody brought it to my attention. The latest, it's not a distraction, but it's latest divider was Brother Panic's death. Okay. Now you got people fighting over that. Okay. People saying there's actually people who making YouTube videos who are saying that they had a hand in. Of course, that's going to happen. You go. There are people who saying that Bobby Hemmett has passed and he was hiding it. There's all kind of fighting just over that, over Brother Panic. Okay. One more time, I didn't rock with him like that. We fell out in 2008 as water under bridge, and it was something very, very minor. But once you show your ass with me once, it only takes once for this Virgo. It only takes one time. And for a very simple reason, then I'm gone. It'll never be the same, even if we start speaking again. You know what I'm saying? Panic did send me a couple friend requests on Facebook, but I was like, you know what? I'm good. I didn't say that. I just didn't accept the request. I've done that a lot of times, you know. There's people who not gonna rock with me, and I'm fine with that. Okay. I'm always saying that I have a specific audience. I really truly believe this. There are people who rock with Panic heavily. There are people who bought his Panic packs, and you know, but other people have been speaking out about stuff. And so these people who rock with him are attacking the people who didn't. You see what I'm saying? Another divider. All right. I never thought, because somebody told me yesterday that the conscious community is now divided over his death. I never once put that together, you know? Then I started doing my research, as I always do. I did my research and I was like, wow, they really are fighting about this. You know what I'm saying? Just because I didn't rock with him don't mean I have anything bad to say about him either. You know what I mean? We grown, and if I don't rock with you, that don't mean you're my enemy. All right, this is something we need to relearn. If I stop fucking with you, it's for a reason. I don't just stop fucking with people. It is for a reason, and I will be more than glad to answer if you ask me that question. Hey, what happened? You unfriend. You have to do something really fucked up for me to unfriend. Now I've unfollowed people because I get tired of seeing some of their posts. But to unfriend you, to completely unfriend you, you really got to be a fucked up person for me to do that, right? But like I said, if you ask, I will tell you what I did. A prime example is with Tata Nagolo. You know, I was actually forced to do that, to give an explanation, because someone else said, hey, he talking about you. I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's what under bridge also. Like I said, I'm a grown man. I do grown things. You see what I'm saying? So yes, even though the conscious community was already in shambles, it's more in shambles now over Panic's passing. There are people who believe that he went through some kind of portal or something, or that he chose to leave. You know, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not in his circles, so I don't know. And so I'm not going to speak on that. But there's other people who are talking against that. Like, if neither one of y'all know, the fuck are y'all arguing about? Can I get a door pause on that? It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. None of us know what happened. All right. None of us know what happened with Bobby Hemmett. All right. There's people actually saying that he's passed away and that people were hiding. Now, I don't see a reason to do that, but I don't know. I don't speak on shit I don't know about. And I'm not going to argue with somebody about something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? But this latest, it has caused a rift. If you pay attention to the comments that's on the YouTube videos that have popped up, you will see the division there for yourself. All right, I've talked long enough. Who's here? You can feel it. Thanks for the truth, brother Magic. Absolutely, sir. Indeed, it's a war as above, so below. What's going on, Butterfly Rain? Uh, Elegant Granny, peace and blessings. Divided about what? He told everyone he was slow when it came to orders. What else was there to argue? I don't know. I really don't know. Social media has too much drama. Yeah, door pause. You love coming in on the door pause. What's going on, Mary? I didn't want to spend too much time on that, but it's yet another example of why people have separated. And honestly, I never thought I'd see the day where the conscious community was separated like that. Okay. Um, so now people are arguing all over all of this. Hmm. Me personally, I don't have time to argue with nobody about nothing. If it's not my household, I don't really care. You know what I mean? But you also got uh people arguing over Will and Jada. All right. First of all, that's Masonic theater. None of that shit is real. It's there for you to argue over, and that's what people are doing. Of course, this is just my opinion. It's my channel, so I'm gonna give my opinion. And that's just my opinion. But I do, even though I don't involve myself in drama, I do pay attention to it. All right. So I went to it was somebody made a comment about I don't follow or I make jokes, but the disrespect that Will has gotten, blah, blah, blah. And then some woman came on and said, Will played himself. He said it in his book, blah, blah, blah. And then it went from there. All right. So I saw an argument about that today. Then yesterday, I saw a picture, a meme of a couple black men sitting on a bus, public transportation, and a woman was standing. All of them were sitting, and all of them seemed to be asleep. And I guess the joke was all these men can't possibly be asleep or something like that. So of course I went right to the comments, and of course they're arguing about that, and I mean thousands of comments. Okay, so from the passing of a teacher, from a passing of a teacher to just a meme, it's all division. All right. So, and social media has made it easy to divide us. You can't tell me that people are just picking to argue over these things. Bucking up 2024. The problem is, I think because he was a spiritual leader and teacher, so his personal life matters to the public. They should focus more on his body of work. He has left a legacy. Oh, yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. That's why I'm always saying that don't focus on what the spiritual teacher, his personal life, that shouldn't matter. right? Bobby's Hemmett, personal life should not matter. What about his body of work? What about Panic's body of work? You know what I mean? Those who follow, what's his name? The author of the Voodoo Gnostic work. Those who follow that. Some people will not follow that book, even though it is deep as shit, the whole book. Some people will not follow that book, Michael Bertrix. Some people will not, they refuse to even read it just because he engages in homosexual practice. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with what he wrote? I promise you, I know people who will not rock with it just because of that fact. Okay. You're supposed to get the information. It doesn't matter. Some people can't separate the message from the messenger. You see what I'm saying? You're supposed to get the message. Get the message. Forget the messenger. If information has a void, it has to find some way to get itself out. If I explain that right. Okay. Some people won't even fuck with Aleister Crowley's work, citing he's a racist. That probably is true. All right. But what about the little foundation he gave on sex magic, which came from Pascal Beverly Randolph? What about his foundation, his body of work? We too busy focusing on the person it's themselves. I was about to say itself. You know what I'm saying? Give me a second here. I'm looking at something here. All right. So now that I got that out the way, and it took me 17 minutes to say all of that. um, you'll never see me put my personal life on Facebook, on here, or on anywhere because of all of this. Now, I'm a small figure here in the internet world, okay? And yet and still, people will use the slightest infraction of your personal life to use against you, okay? I refuse to let that happen. Not only that, I try to be a private person in the first place. The most you've seen about me is I have my wife on it. That's about it. You don't know nothing about my children, my grandchildren, my household, nothing. Okay? Nothing, nothing, nothing. But this is people, like I said, people can't get past people's personal lives. And I think that's sad. You know what I mean? Focus on the body of work that the person left behind or that the person is leaving for you to, you know, work with. See what I'm saying? Um, it's gotten to ridiculous proportions. You know what I mean? Ridiculous. But they follow the work. Indeed. Indeed. As a matter of fact, I typed y'all up something. This is why I always say the art, and I call it an art, the art of discernment, right? To be able to separate who's for real and who's not, who has your best intentions at heart and who doesn't. A scammer from a genuine person. Discernment, right? The higher you get, the more you can discern. And I even want to share with you a spell that you can use for discernment. In the name of Yah, Yahu, Yehovah, Yah, Sabaoth, Abrasax, and Abrasaxiel, I adjure you, Crostas, Fernat, Katipa, Garanos. Let me, son and daughter of whoever, know the character of any person. Let me know in a way that I will understand the character of whomever is in front of me, all the sons and daughters of humanity. So be it. It is done. Amen. Selah. Short prayer. All the prayers I give out are short. again, they have been broken down into their simplest form. That is, of course, a Kabbalistic spell. Those are names of angels, right? Has anyone, since they have been following me, has anyone used any of these spells that I've given out? Please be honest. Any of you? What's going on, Tosh? Separating the art from the artist or message from the messenger can be impossible for the masses. I am totally agreeing with that. It's like they can't get over certain stuff. All right. The Voodoo Gnostic workbook is a masterpiece in the occult realm. It is a masterpiece. All right. There is so much deep information in that book. But like I said, there's people who won't touch it. There's people who will not touch the Hoodoo Encyclopedia, even though it's some major, powerful ass spells in there and techniques. Some people will not touch it simply because the editor was a Caucasian man. Since you don't have any black or melanated editors, you got to get the information where it comes from. Okay. But it is up to you to discern what's real, what's for me, what's not. Okay. The only way that's going to happen is if you actually practice. Okay. You got to practice. You have to experiment. All right. I can give out spells and rituals all day long. But if you don't actually, and people, oh, damn, he gave us this, he gave us that. But if you don't practice it, it means absolutely nothing. Moore said, fun fact that honey jar joint is honeying. What's going on, Sister Righteous? Oh, well, there's some of you that I know for a fact do the spells that I give. Tosh is one, Brother Moore, Sister Righteous is another. You know what I'm saying? I volunteered as tribute. I gotta go back to that Hecate one, but use your suggested works. They won't read that book, but they'll watch any great fucking point. They won't read that book, but they'll watch everything from homosexuals and the inverted Hollywood. That is an excellent point. They will watch, what's that shit called? Something P Valley. They'll watch that. They'll watch Empire and anything else homosexual, but they will not touch the Voodoo Gnostic work. His sexual preferences has absolutely nothing to do with the body of work that the Voodoo Gnostic workbook is. It is packed full of esoteric information. I implore you, if you continue on this particular journey, please read that book. At least read parts of it. Okay. Great point, Brother Konami. Great point. And now, as always, let's hear from the master teacher. Hopefully, I got my point across about that. I hope I did. I spent enough time on shit. Classic lecture by the one and only.
And it will empower those of you who are privy to the information, and it will be a destructive force to your enemy based on energy. Now, we're also going to talk about Tituba, from which we went up to, we did this particular graveyard ritual up at Salem, Massachusetts on Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. Powerful number there and powerful energy. And we're going to talk about that also. But what I want to get into right now is I want to talk about some of the other information that ties into us as being electrical beings or energy beings, not just electrical, but we have various forms of energy. But right now I want to deal with the electrical part of it, the electron, which is a subatomic level to the atom. Now, something very interesting is that when you see these particular, sometimes these vortexes show themselves to you based on lighting, or sometimes a person may see them out of the corner of their eye, and they look like long tubular. We're going to show some of these things. And vortexes and grids basically work on the same level. Grids basically funnel currents through the planet. Vortexes funnel currents from one dimension to another dimension. You see, that's what a black hole is, a vortex, which you travel through these particular vortexes as currents of energy. Currents of energy. They're
Please
all
pay
around
attention
us.
to what he's saying.
We call them ghosts.
Mm.
But to tap into some of this particular energy, just like you watch TV or you raise the antenna on your AM radio, which, by the way, electrical currents, as far as man-made or commercial electronics, commercial, better known as accurate alternative current, AC. That type of alternative current, meaning television runs off of this current, VCRs, TVs. This particular current polarizes every 60 seconds, meaning that electrical currents are beamed into your body and into your brain. Every 60 seconds, it switches sides, like an X. 1 second, it's beaming these electronic waves into your left brain, or your left brain is receiving them, and then another second, it switches every 60 seconds, known as 60 hertz, which can be detrimental to your consciousness, just like flashing subliminal images, if you don't understand how it works. As I said before, the left brain controls the right side, and the right brain controls the left side. I have a picture of Osiris. There's a picture of Osiris with an X, you'll see here, with an X on him, symbolizing the polarities of the energies. Now, your pineal gland is the mediator between these two electrical proton and electrons. Your pineal gland acts as a neutral, and regulates the polarities between the two. Television and VCRs and these various electrical currents that you don't understand how they work as far as imprinting images into your mind will create imbalance within the left and right brain. This is a tactic used in order to make your consciousness susceptible to mind control.
Mm.
So you must understand that. Now, there are also what is also known as, now also this astral zombie energy or ghosts can be given a consciousness. What I mean by a directive, an order. For instance, many of these spirits are drawn to television because television is a gateway from the physical plane to the astral plane. It takes what is physical in the recording studio, takes it into the astral plane and into your mind. It becomes from physical to non-physical. That's what television cameras and videos and so forth can do.
All right. So y'all heard what he said. And the perfect example of what he's talking about with these astral zombies or these ghosts can be seen in the movie Poltergeist. Everybody remember the movie Poltergeist, 1981 movie about the little girl who was abducted. Like she was physically abducted and taken to the astral world. Okay. I don't like remakes, but I did like that remake. The remake they did on Poltergeist actually showed the astral realm. On the first movie, you had to kind of guess what could possibly be on the other side, but in the remake, they actually show it to you. Okay. Remember the very famous phrase, they're here. Go back and watch Poltergeist. Is exactly what he was just talking about. For those of you who don't know, that is Galactic Nightmare. All right. Someone did ask me recently, why do I show so much footage? Somebody asked me this. Why do I show so much footage of Azazel, of Bobby, of Dr. Yafabe? Very simple. My goal for showing Azazel is first so that you can get an understanding of certain things that I say. And I think he probably explains it better. He was here longer. You know what I'm saying? And I regard him as one of the master teachers of the occult, right? Plus, I don't think still people know who he was. And so it is my hope that by showing you certain footage, that you will go and actually maybe purchase, it doesn't have to be from me, but purchase one of his lectures, one of his old classic lectures. Okay. Are y'all still here? Did y'all hit that like button? Do I still have y'all attention? Nobody said anything. Huh. Can't wait to get his book. Which book are you referring to, Brother Moore? Which book? Um, oh, also, speaking of books, I have been asked several times to write a book. And I continue to say the market is already saturated with magic books. In order for me to be successful at that, I would have to be very different from everything that's already out. You go into Barnes and Nobles or bookbinders or whatever bookstore, and you go to the New Age section, and it's always packed full of occult books. I would have to write out of my mind in order to distinguish myself from everything you see in those occult sections. Um, and so I pulled something from a book. This book is actually called The Problem with Magic Books, right? I totally agree with what I'm getting ready to show you. The Problem with Magic Books. There we have the problem with learning from books. These days, it's trendy to write books for a living, and consequently, 80% of the stuff you see in occult bookstores, is absolute crap. I used to work at one, so that's from personal experience. I totally agree. In order to sell more books, the author has to operate on the pretense that he or she can provide information that other authors cannot, while remaining derivative enough to spare themselves a lot of hard labor. What you end up with is a book that contains three or more of the following: chakras, chants in a foreign language, the threefold law, herb, oil, and incense magic from tradition, a leftist political agenda, some form of sexism, at least one ritual from Crowley or the Golden Dawn, sex magic, drug magic. Read anything from Starhawk, Kenneth Grant, Z Budapest, or Chris Hyatt, to name a few. The practical aspects of magic can be broken down into its constituent parts in a sense of system of magical physics. Every system of magic consists of a few simple rules along with a lot of window dressing. That's the trap of modern magical traditions, arguing over the window dressing. This is an actual book, and it is not long. It's a page. It is a page. You see what I'm saying? It is a page. I happen to be scrolling through my book section and found that. The title alone grabbed me, The Problem with Magical Books. I thought this was a perfect explanation of why I'm hesitant on writing a magical book. If I did that, I would have to, the only way I can distinguish myself is to actually give out occult secrets. And I'm not doing that. Let's see what y'all say here. Okay, yes, can you see? I can see your comments now. No such thing as too much Azazel. I am so glad you said that. All of them, but I'm getting the first book, then the other one, volume 1. Okay, all right. Just transcribe what you said from your videos over the year. Instant 3 or 4. Transcribe. And maybe one day. It would be hard to change my mind on that one, people. I mean, I know a lot of people have done it. I'm just don't find it necessary for myself, period, to be quite honest. All right. Here's another thing. Donald Tyson is a great occult author. Okay. He wrote a book. He wrote a book called Lilith, called Liber Lilith. That's one of his books. He's a great occult author. He is. All right. He has this book out called Sexual Alchemy. All right. The information, like I said, is good. He's one of those, he's legit. I will actually endorse him. He's legit. He got a grimoire of the Necronomicon. That's good, but it uses Enochian angels, which I would never do. But a lot of his books are actually legitimate. Okay. So he has actually separated himself from other occult authors. Let me show you the table of contents from his book, Sexual Alchemy. Spirit, Sex, and Magic and Religion, The Great Mother Goddess, Tantra and Tao, Sex and Western Alchemy, The Homunculus, Magical Uses for Sexual Fluids, Salt, Sulfur, and Mercury, God Making, Choosing a Lover, and then he goes into various preparations. But it's what he said in the beginning that quit. This system of sex magic is the result of over a decade of study and ritual practice. On the fall equinox of 1986, I began a full year of intense personal training that involved the daily use of an extended series of yoga postures, controlled breathing, and mentally chanted mantra, coupled with exercises in concentration, visualization, and meditation. I also did daily strengthening exercises and regulated my diet by reducing my caloric intake and excluding completely foods of questionable value. So no McDonald's. An important part of this training was a nightly ritual during which I cast a circle and performed an invocation. Then spent from 1 to 3 hours projecting my thoughts through the photograph of a living person as an exercise in psychic healing, aka Reiki. After a period of several months of nightly projecting words, visualizations, and emotions of a loving, healing nature through the gateway of the photograph, I suddenly began to receive a response. It took the form of an awareness of my interests and an affection sent back to me. Even more startling, the photograph of the head and shoulders of a woman began to move in subtle ways. I saw that the figure in the photo was breathing and his facial expression changed to reflect the emotions that were being sent to me through the picture. The image in the photograph actually looked back at me and seemed aware of my existence and my projected thoughts. It responded to my mental communications with expressions and movement. This is how you get a response from magical ritual, that you keep at it. from 1 to 3 hours, he did it nightly until he got a response from the woman. And then he started seeing subtle changes in the photograph. I think that's amazing. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But how would I find out? I would have to experiment that way, wouldn't I? Okay. Um, there are several uh there are several books on tantra, of course, but on sexual magic. Crowley specialized in that. It is a very powerful system of magic. Okay. You have to have the right partner. You have to have the right mindset. You can't be just going into sexual magic, just trying to bust a nut. All right. It's for a purpose. Okay. I just found that incredible that he did that. I'm not doubting what he did because the Australian occult author Carl Nagel actually wrote a book. His books are all meat and potatoes, and it's short and sweet, and the rituals are simple, but they work. Greetings, brother Oliver McNary. How you doing, brother? You got a few Kenneth Grant books? I think I have all of them. I think I have every Kenneth Grant book that exists. All of them are deep. All of them, and I say this very humbly, you have to have an occult mindset to begin to grasp what he's saying. It takes a particular level of spiritual growth and maturity to understand what he's saying. Okay. That's not being condescending, it's not knocking anybody, but you have to be along a certain ways to understand Kenneth Grant's works. I promise you this, especially in particular the book Night Side of Eden. That's one of his best. And any book that he wrote regarding the clip off. Remember, I told you that I saw your future book. It was titled My Journey into the Occult. The cover was graphic of a dark forest with a dark purple sky. You did say that. You did say that. You did say that, Tosh. I do remember that. He's the last student of Alistair. Yes, Kenneth Grant was the last student. He was in my opinion, he was his best student besides the rocket scientist Jack Parsons, whom they made a TV series called Strange Angel. If Jack Parsons didn't stumble on something, they wouldn't have made a series about him. It was his introduction into the Golden Dawn via Aleister Crowley. Okay. Don't forget, there's also a movie just called Crowley. All right. Check it out when you get a chance. Maybe they think the teacher's personal life and his occult teaching go hand in hand. If they have faults, you might develop the same characteristics or personal habits like them. That's a thought. That's actually a very intelligent thought. Caribbean Grimoire. Maybe. You might be right. Like, will I become like this? Will I be Dora pausing if I, just as an example? Would I be Dora pausing all the time? What do I do if that's an excellent thought. Maybe some people just cannot separate the message from the message. And that's perfectly fine. Okay. A lot of people are not going to get all of this. We ain't going to save everybody. That's just a fact. Oh, Donald Tyson, I got a few of his books. I got that Liber Lilith too. He has a book about using a black. Yes, he does. Great point. Donald Tyson has written, like I said, a couple of great books. Liber Lilith is another good one if you're seeking to work with that particular goddess. The one I just showed you, Sexual Alchemy. How to Make and Use a Magic Mirror is the name of that book that Brother Moore was just talking about. Okay. So I put in the search in my folder, Tyson. That's all I put. And look what came up. Look at all these books. Familiar spirits, the Necronomicon, sexual alchemy, how to make and use a magic mirror, Liber Lilith, portable magic, another underrated one by Donald Tyson. Okay, portable magic. That's the one he gives you rituals to do with the tarot. Doing magic with the tarot is a powerful thing. If you can, I mean, portable. Think about it, portable. You take it with you. Okay, you don't need many ritual tools. If you have to travel and you want to do a ritual, all you would need is a glass of water, tea light candle, and maybe some incense. But make do. I did a live about this not too long ago. Make do with what you have until you can get everything you need. You hope you text that right? Yeah, you texted fine. What's going on, Celestial Earth Goddess? That's probably why I haven't read them yet. I got Night Side of Eden too. Take your time and then reread. They showed that brilliantly in the Marvels. You can't save everybody. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a bunch of bad reviews about it so far. I like to look at stuff for myself though. I don't know. The last Marvels thing I watched, I think was Doctor Strange. Not part 2, the first one. I kind of got, if they keep putting out stuff, I'm gonna get bored of it. Like I got full of zombies in the 80s. I got tired of seeing zombie movies. All right. Here's another clip I wanted to show y'all. And it's another reason that I show footage is to give homage to, I ain't gonna say ancestors when it comes to Bobby Hemmett. Because he's not an ancestor, I don't think. I don't know, But Bobby is brilliant. All right. Bobby is a brilliant occultist. He really is.
Show it, so use all of it, and don't throw nothing out.
Use all of it, is what he said.
Just segregate yourself into that one particular tradition, and all traditions are flawed, which means they lasted for thousands of years. And after the cultures went down, where they had major mystery system schools, a lot of times they had to go underground or they had to be kept by a few priests. And as a result, it deteriorated over the years, where you don't have the complete school, but you have fragments of it that existed. You see what I'm saying? Even when you look at the Santeria and the Apollo and all that, they had to go and fuse in the Catholic things with them and other things surrounding the areas, certain Mexican spirits, just to keep the stuff going because it was fragments. So that's the thing about that. Nothing is complete. That's why you would never get to a certain level by dealing with that, you see what I'm saying, in a sectarian part. You see, that's why I say deal with all of it. And if you get any particular person over you and tell you you shouldn't, then you should leave. Because that means that person is only paying homage to the tradition, mainly which he declared to be the priest or she declared to be the priest over. And that might be good for that person, but that not be the laws for every human down here to follow what you say. You see what I'm saying? To follow what you say. So that has something to do. Give me some more questions right quick. What's that?
Give me some more questions. I love how Bobby broke that down. And like I said, I think the last live I said, there's people who get into a tradition and they think that's the end all be all. And I'm guilty of it myself. When I first ran into voodoo and Palo, I was like a kid in a candy store. The deities were responding. I was having these weird, fluid, lucid dreams. You know what I'm saying? It was physical shit happening. I thought it was the end all be all. And so I stayed in fucking with voodoo and Palo for, I think, 3 or 4 years before I finally moved on. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, the last live, I know people who get into Ifa and they stay in it, and that's where they at. But like Bobby just said, it's all fragmented. This is why you have to use all of it. Now, this wasn't my mindset as I was going through my occult journey. This wasn't my mindset. I wanted to learn it though. I wanted to learn all of it. I had no idea that all of it was fragmented, right? I didn't. Okay. It wasn't until later that it was an epiphany. All this shit, because I kept running into certain things in other traditions. You know what I mean? They add stuff like Catholicism, like to hoodoo. You see what I'm saying? Stuff has been added, stuff has been taken out, and then put in another. It's all fragmented. So, in order for you to get complete information, you have to keep going. You have to keep learning. Okay, don't just stop. And I just refuse. I almost got initiated a couple times, and then I'm like, if I do, I might as well still be a Catholic because I'm going to fall under somebody. I'm too free of a spirit for that to happen. Okay. That's just an advice of mine. If you're going to, travel this occult journey, then learn all that you can. Don't stick with one particular system. Okay. It's not going to have all the answers. Like I said, give me some questions. I mixed his name up with Donald Michael Craig, two different. Donald Michael Craig is also legitimate. He's also. I heard the Loki. I saw the first Loki. I have not seen the second season, but that Loki showed a lot of stuff. Time travel. I am a sucker for time travel stuff like that. Like in last season of Loki, there was somebody who was escaping being brought to justice by hiding in certain events throughout time that was cataclysmic. You see what I'm saying? Apocalyptic events in history is where they were hiding. I thought shit like that is brilliant. They also showed in Rick and Morty. They also show that. Okay. Those of you, I have a movie suggestion too. It's an old movie. It's called Altered States. Okay. That may answer some questions for some of you as far as the races are concerned. Let me just put it that way. All right. That's all I'm going to give you about that. See, Altered States. I've been meaning to mention this for a couple weeks now. Okay. I also found another book. I'm not finding the books. I own them already. But those of you who don't want to deal with voodoo, don't want to deal with anything that has a deity, that's perfectly fine, right? You can use chaos magic. And what does it say about chaos magic? Let's read. Ugh. Chaos magic, when not in the hands, hearts, and pens of elitists, or those who have exchanged old ideologies and isms for a new, equally restrictive set of beliefs and practices and prejudices, is an eclectic umbrella term for the sum and total of all magical endeavor, from so-called primitive shamanic practices to the most sophisticated hermetic or Kabbalic systems. It may include elements from Wicca, Tantra, Oriental metaphysics, Polyanti, and then anything else that could conceivably prove useful / relevant / beneficial. Chaos, perhaps in the future, it should be referred to as chaos or chaos to distinguish it from the banal or dictionary use of the word. Magic is not simply another system, another alternative to mainstream tradition, a new provocative flavor for jaded magical appetites. It is any technique that works, any worldview that proves helpful. It is the employment of any beneficial systems coupled with an awareness of the limitations of that system and an urge to transcend such restrictions. It leads slash should lead to the creation slash evolution of a much more individual, personalized worldview slash set of magical practices. Chaos magic is non-political unless practiced by politicians, non-sexist, non-ageist, and non-racist, unless, of course, it is employed by those who still harbor doubts or prejudice in these areas. Above all, it is non-missionary. It cannot be, for there is no set system to sell, no mandatory beliefs to embrace or reject, and no compulsory practices or festivals to observe or scorn. Chaos magic is a constant state of unfolding flux, uncertainty. The character Paul in Frank Herbert's Doom concludes that the path of uncertainty is also the path of stagnation or even death. If you, the reader, have any certainties about magical law, gender roles, occult leadership, or spiritual companionship, prepare to shed them now. Chaos magic is your magic, if and when you find it slash you. This is called the Grimoire of Chaos Magic. Okay? For those of you who don't want to do any particular tradition, but you do want to practice magic, chaos magic might be your path. Okay? Remember what Bobby Hemmett said about chaos magic, that is melanin magic, basically. Okay? That's what Bobby Hemmett said. It is up to you to find your particular path. This is bothering my mind. Is it wise to still practice magic derived from the religious system of the world, even when we know about our extraterrestrial origins? Discernment, sir. Discernment. All right, this has always been my mantra since I've been here. Well, since I've been on a dark path. Take what you need, take what resonates, and throw the rest away. That's my only advice. Take what resonates, experiment what's helpful and beneficial, throw the other bullshit away. Okay? You're not going to need it all. Like that other book said, there's a lot of fluff involved. There's a lot of fluff, a lot of filler. Discernment. If you need to spell again, I'll give it to you. All right? Discernment. Or just work with it till we ascend to a new system. Just work with it. That's what I did. I worked with voodoo until I couldn't work with it no more. And sometimes those energies do get chaotic, especially the hot spirits like Exu, like Papa Legba. All the Crossroads deities are hot spirits. At least in the Kimbanda system it is. And the Lukumi. All right. Palo, I'm going to say damn near all of those spirits are hot spirits. Okay. I know a practitioner who was always ready to fight, always angry. He's a Palo priest, always ready to fight. Always. Any reason why you don't mess with Enochian angels? And I thought all angels are Enochian. Not all of them are. And the Enochian system was founded by Dr. John Dee. I just think those angels are unproven, to be quite honest. I think they're unproven. I think when I spoke to someone who did fuck with them, he said that those angels are right in your face when you summon. They're like, I don't think they're angels. I think that's a misnomer. Someone at my door. I don't think they're angels. That's one reason. So they're unproven. At least for me, they are. That's why I don't fuck with them. But don't let that stop you from messing with them. Peace, Ronan. What's going on? To avoid karmic debt, make sure to hit the like button. All right. Peace, brother Ronan. Glad you can make it. I'm about to end this thing. What's going on, Brent Booker? There's an anime on Netflix that is called Akuma Kun that drops a lot of gems. Akuma Kun. I'm going to look for that. Let me write that down so I can remember it. Akuma Kun. Nah, that's good. It's all good. Don't forget, watch Ronan, Konami, and Moonfeather's show on tomorrow on the Ronan Experience. That's like I said, I attend as often as I can, and I'm usually laughing a lot. I think there was one last thing I wanted to show y'all before I end this. I'll save it for another time. Oh, wait. Remember, I'm always pushing out mantras. If you can't do anything else, do mantras. Okay. Some people are not in a state where they can do anything. I know people who are in other countries that's illegal to practice magic. So use mantras. It's not illegal to speak, right? There are mantras that you can use for astral projection. For those of you who are interested, astral projection. You heard me. Mantras for astral projection. Mark Pritchard. Okay. I'm not going to read all this, but he gives you a guide for how to pronounce the mantras and gives you instructions. And then projecting with the mantras. Okay. I don't normally give out books. Y'all know this. Well, I'm lying. I do give out books all the time. I'm going to stop that. But if you want this particular book, hit me up. Okay. Thanks for joining me today. Remember, people, a house divided will always fall. Okay. Do I see it get any better? I absolutely do not, because people will argue about everything online, especially with people they don't know. You can't control that, but you can control what you do. All right. So practice magic, practice discernment. Okay. And you can avoid a whole bunch of shit. All right. I am the one and only, the incredible, the mystical, the hilarious, the talented, the sorceress, the magical, the illustrious Magick LaCroix. There's only one. That's all I'm striving to be. Thank y'all for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day as well as your weekend. And I will see y'all next week as I greet you in peace. Namaste. Peace, y'all.